Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is August, and welcome back to Youth Pastor Reacts. I'm a youth pastor, and today I'm going to be reacting to Rush the Trees. Now, this one has been highly recommended by a lot of you guys, so we're going to check out the official video, and then we're going to head into a live video. So it's going to be a 2-for-1 reaction today, and I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and jump on it.
There is unrest in the forest, there is trouble with the trees. For the maples want more sunlight and the oaks ignore their pleas.
Ooh, that's so cool. Ooh.
The oaks are just too greedy. We will make
Wow. 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 I love how they took such a I'm not gonna say simple concept, but they took this idea of trees, right? Like in a forest, I'm imagining, and they made it such a message about life, right? Like they saw the trees, you got the maples, which are smaller, and then you got the big oaks, which just soak up all of the sunlight. And it relates to people, I think. That's what I'm getting from it. From like the oaks are, the people that seem to have it all. The people that are up top, they're doing good, they're higher above, they're above other people. They're getting all the sunlight. But then you have the maples that are just getting enough sunlight or getting a little bit of sunlight, but they're really sitting in the shade. It's really interesting. Also love that instrumental piece right there. I love how they can have such deep meanings behind their songs and their lyrics are such poetry, but they can just stop like for a minute and just break it down and just give us a great beautiful instrumental. Love that piece. Different sounds. Absolutely love that. Neil was going hard in the back with the drums and it's more than just drums though, right? Like there's other set pieces and stuff that he's using. So very, very cool. So to dive into some of their lyrics a little bit, it says there's unrest in the forest, trouble with the trees. For the maples want more sunlight and the oaks ignore their pleas. I love how Rush set up their songs. Like in every song, they tell a story with deep meaning behind it, but they set it up so well. And so here we see that there's a forest of trees and there's a problem. There's a problem going on. There's trouble. You got the maple trees that want more sunlight, and then you have the oaks that ignore their pleas. So different types of trees, and we see the problem there. The trouble with the maples, and they're quite convinced they're right, they say the oaks are just too lofty and they grab up all the light. It's interesting. It's like giving soul or personality to these trees so that they could almost like speak, right? Like if the trees could talk, what would they say? Right? If the wind could talk, what would it say? It's interesting. And the oaks are just too lofty. The oaks are bigger, they're soaking up all the sunlight, but the maple trees, and they're quite convinced they're right, have a problem with that because they're not able to get the light because the oak trees are essentially in the way. But the oaks can't help their feelings if they like the way they're made, and they wonder why the maples can't be happy in their shade. That's so interesting. So the oaks, from the oaks perspective, it's like they can't help it in a sense, right? That's just what they are. That's just who they are. They can't help how big they are in a sense. If they like the way they're made, they can't help their feelings in a sense, right? But also, they're wondering why the maples have such a problem with that. Why can't the maples just be happy in their shade? And so that's interesting, right? If we're talking about people and we like zoom out for a minute and you have the people that are on the top that are, above everybody else that have all of the things, they're looking down at people and wondering, why can't you just be happy with what you have? Why can't you just be content? It's this idea that we're all striving for more, right? It's a common theme throughout a lot of Rush songs. We're all striving for more. We all want more. We're never quite content with where we are, right? And so the maples can't be happy, and the oaks are wondering why. There's trouble in the forest, and the creatures all have fled. Interesting. So the creatures that the trees should be providing shade for, they've all fled, assuming because of this problem. As the maples scream oppression and the oaks just shake their heads. That's interesting. The maples are screaming oppression, like they're being oppressed by these oak trees, but in essence, the oak trees aren't really doing anything to the maple trees. They're just taking up the light, right? But they're not essentially like attacking the maple trees. They're not really, you know, targeting them or doing anything against them per se, but they are taking up the light and the sunlight. That's interesting. But they feel oppressed. but they're not necessarily oppressed. So it's kind of like this victim mentality, right? It's like you feel like they're targeting you, but they're not. And so you just kind of deem yourself a victim. The Maples formed a union and demanded equal rights. They're like, all right, we got to form a union. We got to come together. This ain't right. We got to do something about this. And they say, the Oaks are just too greedy. We will make them give us light. It's interesting. Huh. So they got the Maples coming together. They're going against the oak trees. Now there's no more oak oppression, for they passed a noble law, and the trees are all kept equal by hatchet, axe, and saw. Interesting. Huh. There's no more oak oppression. I'm assuming that the oak trees are the ones that are being cut down, right, by the hatchet, axe, and saw. But I'm wondering how the maple trees are connected to that. I'm assuming, I mean, I'm not a lumberjack or anything, but I'm assuming you want the oak tree because it's the bigger tree. You know, it'll provide you with the most amount of wood and all that stuff. So they leave the maple trees. But the maple trees aren't exactly connected to that idea. They're just simply there. So it's interesting how they're talking about how they're going to form a union. They're going to do something about it. And it also talks about a noble law. I'm kind of confused a little bit about what this noble law could mean. I'm not 100% sure, but it is interesting. If you guys know what that noble law is, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd be curious to know. I try my best to break down these lyrics, but occasionally do miss things here and there. So anyways, we're going to watch the live version. This is live from the Montreal Forum, 1981. Oh, hold on. Let me fix that for you guys. There we go. All right, let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Lifeson on the classical guitar.
Beautiful.
There is unrest in the forest, there is trouble with the trees. For the maples want more sunlight and the oaks ignore their pleas.
I love it. Oh.
question that you tend to ask the most often is what if? I think if you had to simplify a motivation or simplify a moving force in our music, that would probably suffice.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Dang, I didn't know this added like an extra thing at the end of it. And was that Alex talking? Oh, it was Neil. Oh, it was Neil.
The question that you tend to ask the most often is what if? I think if you had to simplify a motivation or simplify a moving force in our music, that would probably suffice.
Wow. What if? That's a great question. That is a great question. What if? There's so many possibilities that you can imagine just with those two words, man. Jeez. That's cool. That's cool. I don't think I've ever heard Neil's voice before outside of Dinner with Rush. I don't think so. That's interesting. Also, I love how Getty is just like jumping around the stage and just like jamming out. I love that so much, dude. That's so cool. But yeah, this was fun. This is very, very cool. This is a good song. So, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We're just gonna keep on making our way through the Hemispheres album, and I think we have one more song left. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see any more reactions or if you have any recommendations for me, please leave them down in the comment section below. Also, if you liked the video, please be sure to give me a like. I really do appreciate that. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.